Hello everyone and welcome to this new video on Mamma Mia Dev. In this episode we'll see how to create mobile applications using Avalonia. Yes, with Avalonia you can develop mobile applications, and the best part is that you get the same look and feel, the same visual experience no matter the platform you're targeting. In the first part we'll set up our development environment. That's because developing mobile applications is a little bit more complex than desktop applications, but don't worry, I will walk you through all the steps. Then we'll create a simple application. We'll try to deploy it to a physical phone. And if you haven't got any physical phone with you, don't worry, because we'll see how to configure an Android emulator. Let's move on. Alright. The first thing we need to do is to set up our development environment. For this project I'll use JetBrains Rider. Feel free to use the IDE that you prefer as long as it supports Avalonia. I know for sure that you can use Visual Studio, and even Visual Studio Code should have an experimental extension that allows you to develop with Avalonia. In Visual Studio is pretty simple. The configuration is pretty simple. You just select your version, like, I don't know, the community, which is free, click install, and once you see all the components, I think it's enough to select the .NET multi-platform app UI development under the desktop and mobile, install it, and you should be ready to develop. It's gonna be a little bit more complex in Rider, but I'll guide you through all the steps. So let's close it, open Rider. Cool. At this point, just make sure you already installed the Avalonia templates, otherwise you won't be able to see the templates down here in the list. What you need to do is to select Avalonia cross-platform application, give it a name, and create it. Alright, once the solution is created, you will see a bunch of projects, an Android one, a core one, a desktop one, but we'll see the details later. You'll also see a couple of errors, but you can ignore them for now. Also a bunch of suggestions, just ignore them. For now, just go to the Rider settings, go to environment, select Xamarin Android and install it. It will take a while, but don't worry. This is going to install a bunch of tools and components necessary to develop an Android application. Once the installation is finished, just restart Rider. Once restarted, you see a bunch of warnings, but don't worry, we still need to install another couple of things. For instance, if we open the debug window, those errors means that we need to install some more components. And if you remember, when we opened Visual Studio before, we saw the workloads. We need to do the same here, and we can do it by using the command line, and we need to install the Android workload. To do that, we just type in the prompt .NET workload install Android. This will install another bunch of components. It will take a while, so just be patient. Once the workload installation is finished, let's try to rebuild the solution and see what happens. You can see that we've got another error this time, and it's about Wasm tools. I think it's referring to the browser project, but for the sake of this project, we can just delete it. We don't need it. Nice. Let's rebuild. And now it's complaining about a platform version. Alright, this error is a little bit cryptic, but in the end is referring to the absence of the actual SDK, the Android SDK. To fix that, we just need to go to settings again. This time go to languages and framework, select Android SDK, click on Edit, and you will see a new window. At this point, the components set up. Just select any available, better if the latest version, and click Next. Accept the terms and conditions and install it. Cool. Once you install the Android SDK, just restart Rider, and if it doesn't do it automatically, restore and rebuild the whole solution. This time, most of the errors should disappear. Alright, at this point we can see another error popping up, and it is about the Java SDK, which is missing. We need that to compile and pack the Android APK. Just follow the URL that is prompt, and you will be able to download and install it. Make sure you install the version above 11 at the time I'm recording, and also always at the time I'm recording, the latest version, the 21, is not supported, so you make sure you get the one before, which in this case is the 17. Install it and restart Rider. Once you installed the Java SDK, open Rider, go to Settings, select Build, Execution and Deployment, then Toolset and Build, and right beside MS Build Global Properties, click on Edit, add a new global property, call it Java SDK Directory, and put as a value the location of the Java SDK you just installed. Rebuild the project, and this time everything should be green. Cool. Let's try the desktop application and see if it starts. Yay, it works. Before we proceed, I just wanted to point out that there is a Rider Xamarin Android plugin that you can install. Honestly, I'm not really sure of what functionalities it offers, and it's probably not mandatory if you only work with C# code without touching the Android project. By the way, to install it, just go to the Rider settings, plugins, search for it inside the marketplace and click install. Let me know in the comments if you know how this plugin works. Alright, now that the Android project is building properly, to proceed and deploy the Android app, we need to configure and connect a physical device. But before we do that, we need to enable a functionality called USB debugging on the device itself. But before we proceed, just a small disclaimer. The procedure you're going to see can severely damage your device, making it unusable in some remote cases. So make sure you know what you're doing, and please use a phone that you don't need and you are willing to throw it away if anything goes wrong. That said, let's move on. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to enable developer settings on our phone. To do that, let's go to the system settings, look for the build number, and then tap on build number around 7 times until you see the "You are now a developer" badge. Once you do that, look for USB debugging, click on it and enable it. USB debugging is fundamental to, of course, debug using your phone, and in general, debugging options provide ways to configure on-device debugging and to establish communication between the device and your development computer. Now let's plug our device into our computer until a pop-up appears. Click on Always Allow and then tap OK. Now your device and your development environment should be able to communicate properly. To double check it, click on the configuration menu, select the Android project, and on the left you should be able to see the model name of the mobile phone you just connected to your PC. Now we are ready to deploy our application directly to the phone. Just hit the play button and wait for the environment to package and deploy the application. Might take a while. Just wait for the application to show up on your mobile phone. Here we go. You can see the Avalonia logo and the sample text showing up. This is our first mobile application built and run using Avalonia. If you need to collect some more informations or logs from the application, or you need to troubleshoot anything, you can even debug the application, which means that you will attach your debugger to the running application directly on your mobile phone. When you hit the debug button, it might take a little more time to deploy it. That's just because it is going to probably inject more libraries. Alright, that's all if you want to deploy the application on a physical device. But if you don't have an Android phone with you, you can always use an emulator. To finish the video, let's see how to configure an Android device emulator directly on your PC and use it to deploy our application. Alright, all we need to do now is to locate the device manager window, which should be on the right on your IDE. If it's not there, just go to the Rider menu, Tools, Android, and select Device Manager. Now you should see the Device Manager window. Click on the plus icon. On the left, in the device list, select the one that you prefer. We'll probably go for a Pixel 7. Click Next. Now we need to select the system image that we want to install. But before we do that, we need to download it on our PC. To do that, just click on the download icon. A new window should pop up. Wait for the download to finish. And click Next. Now let's just check the final details. Give the device a name and click Finish. After that, you should see the new device appearing in the Device Manager window. You can tweak with the settings or just click Start. You should see the emulated device popping up on your screen right after. Just wait for it to start. And at this point, you should have a fully and almost fully functioning Android device right on your PC without any real hardware. And that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching.